There are moments in professional wrestling that you remember forever. Moments that stop you mid-breath and make you realize you are watching something that will be talked about for decades. WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas gave us one of those moments. A young man who not long ago was competing on NXT walked into Allegiant Stadium, stood face-to-face with one of the most feared and dominant forces in WWE history, and did what nobody thought was truly possible at the grandest stage of them all. He beat Brock Lesnar. Cleanly. Convincingly. And in doing so, he did not just win a match. He announced himself to the entire world as the next face of WWE. And the man he beat walked out of that ring with tears in his eyes and left his boots on the canvas for the last time. Stay with me, because this is the full story of the night everything changed. Let us start with how this match even came to exist, because the backstory makes what happened even more powerful. Brock Lesnar issued an open challenge. He wanted one more WrestleMania moment, one more opportunity to walk into the biggest show of the year and prove that the Beast Incarnate still had something left to offer. Several weeks before WrestleMania 42, a name stepped up to answer that challenge. Oba Femi, the Ruler. A man who had been tearing through NXT with a level of physical dominance that reminded longtime WWE fans of someone. A younger, hungrier, even larger version of the very man he was about to face. The weeks leading up to the match were filled with heated confrontations that made fans believe this was going to be something special. And when the match was officially set, word came out that it was not just a creative decision made by WWE management. Brock Lesnar himself had handpicked Oba Femi as his opponent. The Beast chose his own successor. That detail alone should tell you everything about how this night was going to go. WrestleMania 42 Night 2 opened at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas in front of a packed house ready for something unforgettable. When Oba Femi's music hit and the crowd erupted into Oba chants, it was clear that the audience was fully invested in this young man's moment. Then Brock Lesnar walked out. Even in what would turn out to be his final appearance, Lesnar commanded the entire arena with his presence the way only a handful of performers in wrestling history ever have. He locked eyes with Femi the moment he stepped through the ropes. He did not blink. The match began with both men testing each other's strength in a collar-elbow tie-up. Immediately, the size comparison was shocking. Oba Femi stood toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar and looked like he belonged there completely. Lesnar tried to put Femi in the corner, but was shucked off and hit with a clothesline that sent the Beast stumbling backward in disbelief. The crowd roared. The statement had been made early. This was not going to be a squash. This was not going to be a veteran carrying a newcomer. This was two monsters going at it equally. Lesnar regrouped on the outside and pulled Femi out with him, ramming him into the barricade and the ring post to take control. He got Femi back inside and delivered 3 German suplexes in succession, the signature that has ended careers and broken bodies across Lesnar's entire run. Suplex City was open for business. The crowd held its breath. It looked like Lesnar might just have enough left to remind everyone why he was the Beast Incarnate for over 2 decades. But then Oba Femi did something that changed the entire atmosphere of the match. As Lesnar hit the F5, the move that has defeated champions, legends, and part-timers for years, Femi recovered. He got back to his feet. He absorbed the most powerful weapon in Brock Lesnar's arsenal, and he stood back up. The crowd lost their minds. Lesnar could not believe what he was seeing. In that moment of hesitation, of visible disbelief on the face of the Beast, Femi hit a devastating chokeslam that dropped Lesnar to the canvas. The momentum had shifted completely, and it was not coming back. Femi then hit his finishing move, the fall from grace, and covered Lesnar. 1, 2, 3. The arena exploded. Oba Femi had done it. He had defeated Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania in his very first WrestleMania match, a moment that most wrestlers spend their entire careers dreaming about and never achieving. Femi accomplished in his debut on the biggest stage in professional wrestling. But the match itself was only half the story, because what happened after the final pinfall is what made this night truly historic. Lesnar did not immediately leave the ring. He sat up slowly in the center of the canvas as Femi was celebrated by the crowd. And then, deliberately and with full awareness of what the moment meant, Brock Lesnar reached down and took off his gloves. Then he took off his boots. He placed them both on the canvas of a WrestleMania ring in Las Vegas, Nevada. In professional wrestling, leaving your boots in the ring is the ultimate symbol of retirement. It means you are done. It means this was the last time. Thank you, Brock chants began rolling through the arena. Thousands of fans who had cheered him and booed him and feared him over more than 2 decades were now giving him the send-off he deserved. Lesnar was in tears. He embraced Paul Heyman, the man who has been by his side through almost his entire WWE career, and the two held each other in the center of the ring. Heyman raised Lesnar's arm one final time. Lesnar waved to the crowd. He stood in the corner and soaked in every second of it. Then he sat in the middle of the ring one last time, took a bow, and walked out. If that was the last time Brock Lesnar ever walked out of a WWE ring, he walked out the right way. On his terms, at WrestleMania, in front of a full house that appreciated every moment of what he gave to this business. Now let us talk about what this means for Oba Femi and for WWE going forward, because this is where the story gets even more exciting. Oba Femi is 25 years old. He is listed at 6 feet 4 inches and over 280 pounds. He moves with a combination of power and athleticism that is almost unfair for someone his size. He came through NXT, where he was a dominant champion, but nobody fully knew how he would translate to the main roster stage. WrestleMania 42 answered that question completely. He did not just want a match against a legend. He looked like a main event superstar from the first second to the last. The crowd was fully behind him. The moment felt organic and real. And the fact that Brock Lesnar himself chose Femi as the man to end his career tells you everything about the respect the locker room and WWE management have for this young talent. WWE has been searching for its next generational franchise player for years. The Cena era ended. The Reigns era has carried the company for a long time. And now, in Las Vegas on April 19th, 2026, the torch may have just been officially passed to a new name. Oba Femi, the ruler, the man who beat the beast at the grandest stage of them all. For Brock Lesnar, the legacy he leaves behind is enormous. A 10-time WWE champion, a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, a former Universal Champion, ECW champion, and one of the most physically dominant performers the company has ever seen. He came from amateur wrestling, conquered UFC, and then came back to WWE and dominated for another decade. He was not just a wrestler. He was an event. Every time Brock Lesnar was announced, something real was about to happen. That is a rare quality that very few people in this business ever achieve. And he chose to end it by putting over a young star, by giving Oba Femi the rub that no championship or title reign could provide. The rub that only comes from being the man who beat the beast at WrestleMania. That is how legends are made, and that is how legends choose to leave. Thank you, Brock, and welcome to the top, Oba Femi. This is just the beginning.